Welcome once again to the NewOaks AI podcast. Sorry for the delay, everyone. This is your host, Leland Best of Best Studios, along with my guest, Ray Luan, CEO of NewOaks AI podcast, or NewOaks AI, I should say. We're just going to go ahead and get right to the meat of things today since we're a little behind schedule. Ray and I were talking a little bit behind the scenes about this competition going on with AI, with OpenAI, with DeepSeek, with a lot that's happening over at Anthropic as well. So, Ray, let's just get to the meat of it. What's going on with DeepSeek and R1, along with the ChatGPT what is it, O3 Mini
Yeah,
now that they're on?
yeah,
Tell us a little
sure.
bit about what's
So,
going on.
so DeepSeek just dropped an atomic bomb in the AI large language model business. So that the R1 model did really well. It outperforms ChatGPT O3 Mini as per my testing results. So I just did a test, asked the DeepSeek R1 to write a plan for NewOaks in 2025 versus I did the same thing with ChatGPT O3 Mini. It turns out the reasoning process, I mean, DeepSeek R1 literally display every reasoning steps that it did and also gives very thorough planning strategy description, right?
Mhm.
With a lot of details versus ChatGPT O3 Mini just, they also display the reasoning process and steps and give me a mediocre level, I would say, strategy plans. So I can just compare both of the plans. I have to say R1 outperforms GPT O3 Mini by a lot in
Seems to be
terms
the
of the
case.
yeah, yeah. So in that with that said, I think DeepSeek did pretty well because they use reinforcement learning technique when they train the models versus GPT-O3 Mini. Just they use a smaller distillation model with general knowledge, so that I think R1's the reasoning process or reasoning logic is a lot better than ChatGPT O3 Mini.
Mhm. Now,
So I think that
one thing
go
I
ahead.
noticed, Ray, that they haven't said much about, but they are kind of holding back on, is the whole chain of thought process that the
Yeah,
R1 actually goes through right in front of you, and that
yeah,
O3 is now kind of just starting to begin to expose, yet they're a little reluctant to expose that whole chain of thought over at
yeah.
OpenAI, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think that's because the training method was different between those two
Hmm.
models.
Hmm.
So R1, as I mentioned, DeepSeek R1 was using reinforcement learning
Hmm.
versus what I know that ChatGPT O3 Mini was using supervised fine tuning, right? SFT.
Hmm.
So, but reinforcement learning means that DeepSeek is using trial and error technique to train the model so that the model can think out of the box when it's do train of thought training versus GPT-O3 Mini was using supervised fine tuning means that it can only imitate or learn from its training materials. It
Sure.
cannot get out of the training materials limitations or restrictions.
Gotcha.
So I think that defines what you and me have seen during
Hmm.
this process of testing, right? So clearly R1 has more logic and reasoning capability and more creative versus O3 Mini was just reluctant to tells you everything about its train of thought process and give you a very mediocre result. So
And I think
that's a
people
big
are,
difference.
they're starting to find that they want to see what the AI
Yeah,
is doing as its background, as its, let's just say, like
yeah,
they used to say in math class, show your work. It's what we used to say here in
yeah,
the US.
yeah,
You had to show your work. So we want the AI to do that so we can get a better understanding of where it's getting its information from. Whoop, looks like my
yeah.
video is starting to freeze now over here. We're having some issues with the internet today, Ray, so give me a second.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
still here, but the video is choking up through the internet, so just hold tight. All right, we look like we're back again. We get
Okay.
these cross international connections. This is what we run into sometimes. Not much we can do to avoid the pipelines. So let's just get right into it then. There was one other statement made by Anthropic CPO Dario. Or
Yeah.
what was he talking about? I mean, he's basically saying GPT is restricting its exports now to you guys. What's happening there?
Yeah. So Dario, I think the way I see Dario Amalde's statement is that I think that Anthropic literally panicked, right?
Yes.
They're deeply feared by DeepSeek because DeepSeek is much cheaper and it has a same almost a similar performance. So what Dario proposed is to ban the GPU export from US to China, so that the AI business, like DeepSeek, will not keep growing and outperform the US AI models. I think that is a very narrow-minded statement as a leading AI business leaders in the United States.
Well, yeah,
I think it's
I
not
agree.
good for our us like business owners, AI practitioners and AI application builders. It's not fair to us because as an open source, both OpenAI and the Anthropic are not open source, right? But
True.
but but the benefit of DeepSeek as an open source large language model builder, it gives us opportunity to run the whole model in our own private server. Even in the future, we can run the model in our own computer, right? Personal PCs.
Sure.
So yeah, so it gives us a strong capability that to protect our own data, not be censored by any government, including U.S. government.
Totally agree.
So I don't understand why they think like that. I think they're just be scared by the uprising of DeepSeek, and they start to like ban the GPU export, which I don't think that's good for the whole AI business in terms of in terms of the competition and in terms of the benefit to everyone, right?
Yeah, and I see the same thing going forward because myself, I'm using DeepSeek at home. And just to give an example,
Yeah,
I run N8N to build an internal agent that I access
yeah,
through Telegram. In doing
yeah.
so, I use the Olama chat model, which allows me to pick DeepSeek R1 latest as one of the drops in their system. So I simply upload I'm not using this, 700 or what is it, 600 billion parameter model that's available to those with
Yeah.
huge, server farms, but I can at least access a large enough model that I can do the work that I want to do and add to a distilled model, like you said, and that's something not a lot of people understand. It's kind of like distilling spirits. You're taking something that is much larger in size and quantity and reducing it down to something smaller in nature, but it still has the essence of the overall training of the larger model. So you're just kind of abridging everything a little bit in a distilled model. You're making it somewhat of a reduced factor, and that's about it. So, yeah, we're seeing a lot of really cool things there, Ray. Looks like Ray's freezing up on me now. You still there, Ray? No, he's froze up. So we're going to wait and see if he comes back. If Ray doesn't come back, we're just going to have to suffer the consequences. Oh, he's here. He'll be back in just a second. So we have to deal with these issues sometimes when we're broadcasting from US to China. That's just one of the things that happens here at the NewOaks AI podcast. So as soon as he comes back in, which he will, the system will pull him back in just a second. It does so automatically. So once his camera comes back on, we'll finish this up because Ray has another meeting here in about 10 minutes. And we're going to see if his system will allow him to stay online. We're just waiting you out, Ray. Just hold tight.
I can see. I can hear you.
Yep, you're there. Try to turn your video back on, but it looks like it's on.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop your video. There you go. No,
Yeah.
it's not starting your video, is it? Here, let me stop your video and I'm going to turn it back on again for you.
Yeah.
But your image is up, so we can just use your voice. Why don't we do that for now?
Yeah.
Rather than take it for what it is, we'll leave it.
Okay.
So let's just get to the announcements, Ray, of what's actually happening over at NewOaks. We've talked enough about what everybody else is doing out there. Let's talk about what NewOaks is doing. I see over a half a dozen feature enhancements that have taken place over the last week or so since Ray has been missing for a week on his vacation. Let's talk about them, Ray. Admin account enhancements. What do you got going on with the ability to share bots to sub accounts?
Yeah, so we recently launched a feature that allowed the admin account,
Mhm.
especially as a agency owners, right? So if you own a admin account, you can share any chatbots under your account to your sub account. So make it easier to manage your team
Gotcha.
members, yeah, team members sub accounts, and also the chatbot setting. So it's good for agency owners.
Yep, works for me.
Yeah.
Next on the list, I see the DeepSeek integration. So when can we expect to see R1 integrated into the NewOaks chatbot?
Yeah, so we are gonna integrate with DeepSeek API by the end of this week. If we can do it well, hopefully we can do it today or tomorrow. But
Okay.
yeah, the latest is by the end of this week.
That sounds awesome. And then I also see the reselling feature released so that agencies can resell AI phone calling services.
Yeah, so to recap that, so because we can integrate the AI agent into a Twilio number, and then we make it a reselling add-on so that our agency owners can actually buy the feature from us and then resell to their clients a
Oh, nice.
monthly subscription model.
Oh, okay. So that'll be a separate item that they can bill out per minute to their users, and they're going to pay you for the reduced fee at wholesale and sell it at retail, basically, in a sense.
Exactly.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
love it. And then a paywall UI, which is in the chat bubble. Are you going to be accepting payments through the chat widget?
Yeah, so that will allow us to accept payment directly through the chat widget without needing to,
Wow.
you know, and click and pop up another window to do the payment. That will reduce the churn rate for the payment process.
So that could be any payment processor we want to connect on the back end, or does it have to go through your payment processor to make that function properly, right?
Well, we it has to be our payment process,
Okay.
and then it will be integrated through our third party process
Oh,
later.
okay. Perfect. All right. And then a file upload. I have seen this already once in the past where in the chat widget, you have the ability to upload photograph images. And I'm just going to show the people out there for a minute that we do have that capability to upload a file manually from wherever we might want to here. So it sounds like now we're going to actually be able to upload other types of files other than just images, correct?
Well, yeah. So there's two aspects of that. So you can upload image file um in the chat widget, and also another thing is that we also create API to
Hmm.
allow the users to upload the file through API to create a chatbot. So that's another aspect of the API feature.
Gotcha. That would make sense, and that works well.
Yeah.
All right, and then the ticket submission feature. I didn't even know about this one. Users can now submit tickets directly within the chat bubble. So this is support tickets to the people on the back end, is what you're saying?
Yeah, so we recently added a ticket so that the customers can submit a ticket through the chat widget without needing to file a ticket on our community or Discord community or Facebook community. So it's a more convenient way to report a bug or request a support.
Gotcha.
So
And
yeah.
is that active now, currently?
Yeah, it's active now. So if you go to NewOaks.ai and open up the chat widget and click
Okay.
submit a ticket, you will
Oh,
be
I
able
gotcha.
to submit a ticket right away. Yep.
Yeah. So then the AI takes over and allows you to submit your complaint right through the widget.
Yeah.
There we go. Perfect. So you'll get your name, your email, and your complaint and submit that. And then that goes ahead and sets you up for the next run. Perfect. And then, Ray, we're down to the last item, I believe, on the list today, and that is the chatbot layover demo, which was relocated on the website, correct?
Yeah. So the chatbot demo allows your agency owners, to put a URL, website URL, and generate a demo chat widget over customer's website immediately. So it has been placed into the login page of white label customer domain, so
there.
that so that
I'm gonna let people see it on my AIO Chatbots edition of NewOaks AI. This is what the sign-in page looks like for agency owners, and Ray has added the simple chat widget system test where you can go ahead and let people see what the widget looks like by starting a near instant demo by putting a domain name with the proper address, of course, which I didn't do. So you do need the HTTP or HTTPS in front of it. And then it goes ahead and within, what is it, like 60 seconds most, unless it's a really large website, Ray, it's going to scrape and build a bot so that you can actually test it out and let people see how it functions. So we'll see how long it takes. We'll just give it a second. I know, Ray, you got to get out of here, so we're going to make short time of this as we close out. But I think everybody gets the idea. Once this generates, I just pointed to one of my websites, which may even have a widget on it already, but this will drop right into where the original widget would land. And it goes and scrapes the website for that period of time. And it's great for, like he said, agency owners to simply go to somebody, bring it up on a website page and say, what was your website again? Enter the domain, and boom, within a couple of minutes, they can create a chatbot widget on site. Here it is. It just popped as soon as I made the display go away, right? The widget showed up. So here we are with the NewOaks widget right there on the website to be able to show someone what it's all about. So great stuff. I love it. Ray, let's let you get to your business. I know things were running a little quick, but great to have you back after your holiday. So you do have a new webinar going on Thursdays with a good friend of yours and mine, Hilton Davidow out of Australia. So tell us a little bit about that before you take off, Ray.
Yes, so the final announcements that I'm planning with Hilton Davidow to co-host a webinar just to introduce our latest features in the way of technical tutorial, and also introduce deep integration with Go High Level. So we're planning the time. It mostly will be on every Thursday. The details will be announced later.
Okay, so you're not sure on the timing as to when that's going to take place yet. It's just going to be
we're still negotiating the time.
All right, perfect. Sounds great. Well, we're glad to hear it, Ray. Glad to have you back. So if anything, if you're not familiar with NewOaks, be sure to head over to newoaks.ai where you can find all of the things that are happening over at NewOaks, along with the pricing. You can check out a free plan, sign up, see what it's all about, or just go take a look and see how the voice agent works, see how it actually looks on your website, and get a true feel of how one of these chatbot widgets work in production. So, Ray, thanks so much for being here. As always, we'll see you next Tuesday at 8 p.m., as we always do out here at NewOaks AI Podcast, and we hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Oh, see you next time. Thank you, Leland.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.